It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hey there, and thank you for joining us on 2K Sports. I'm Ernie Johnson. This NBA season didn't take long to get interesting, but these two gentlemen have always captured our interest. Say hello to Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Hello, Kenny.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, Shaq. Tonight we'll see the Oklahoma City Thunder playing against the Phoenix Suns. For Phoenix, they struggled in this matchup last season. Only one win for them through 4 games. They'd like to make a statement tonight. And Jimmy Butler, the 30th pick out of Marquette back in 2011. Every season he's improved, and Shaq made a huge jump last year, didn't he?
Last year he won the...
We're coming at you from the Peak Chesapeake Energy Arena in beautiful Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, as the Thunder prepare to take the floor. And just a single game trip away from Phoenix here for the Suns. This is a team showing a better record this year over last. This was their goal, and it's coming to fruition so far.
And I think for the Suns, they weren't really being talked about as contenders coming into the season, but they have entered that conversation.
It just shows you how futile it is to try to predict what's going to happen before a season. I mean, it's been a great year for them, and they've still got plenty of room to improve for the postseason.
And now the opening lineup for Phoenix. Tucker and Morris holding the forward spots. Brandon Knight is out there with Booker, and it's Chandler in at the 5 down low. Adams' shot is off. On defense, Oklahoma City. This game coming on the heels of their win against Chicago.
And you know what? Exactly what had to be done in terms of winning on the road. Never allowed any momentum to build up against them. Kept the crowd out of the game. And for every punch they took, they had a counter.
I was very impressed, Greg, with the way they stood their ground, even when they were on their heels some, coming through those moments where they were backing up a bit. That's what it takes on the road. You got to show that kind of fortitude and resilience. They really can't allow him too many open looks like that. I mean, that's just inviting trouble. Really impressed with the way Jimmy Butler last season made big strides in his game, going from a supporting role player to someone you can build your team around.
Now here's Butler. He picked up 30 points in their last win against the Bulls in Chicago.
And also 4 blocks. I mean, just an important factor on both ends. And a sharp pass to set up that high percentage shot in close.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
I briefly spoke with Jeff Hornacek. We talked about their strategy on how to contain Russell Westbrook, and he told me that Russell's counteract that. They'll try to make sure they get back on defense in a hurry and limit his chances to get out in transition and start setting up his teammates or throwing down dunks. Neither is a good option for them.
And as always, Doris, thank you. Knight kicks to Booker. Back to Knight. Chandler a screen. Knight with it. Westbrook picks him up. And Chandler throws it down.
Brandon Knight certainly can pass the arm.
And Jimmy Butler had the career highs across the board last season. Won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Really picking up his production in his 4th season.
You know, we had seen the flashes of potential in Butler before. Last season, he sustained great play and really took everything to the next level. And he placed that pass out in front of him and let him just run into it in rhythm. And really, last season, the Thunder came into the year as a popular pick to win the West. Of course, we know what happened in terms of injuries, and they ended up having them on the outside looking in terms of the postseason.
Timeout is called. First of the game for the Thunder. For the Thunder, their play against the rest of the West wasn't a huge problem as to why they missed the playoffs. And Clark, you know, they went 25-27 against the rest of the West.
Well, at first glance, that doesn't look too bad, but only 7 wins in those 29 games against the Western Conference playoff teams. With the talent the Thunder have, you still think of them as favorites in the West, at least one of the favorites in the West.
And the Thunder going with a whole new group out there. Now about 3 minutes gone in the first quarter. Here's Nash. Passes it to McGee. And it's Phoenix with the rebound. They put up a nice win against Detroit the last time out.
They just weren't challenged. I mean, nearly as much as they should have been in that game. at least when they had the ball.
Yeah, it was a mismatch. I mean, the defense from the start was on its heels practically the entire game.
Wasted no time on that one.
You know, sometimes you don't like to see guys pull up from three-point range on the break, but for him, with nobody on him, that's a pretty good shot.
And Booker kicks tonight. Shot, high post. Rebounded by McGee.
No breathing room at all to take that shot.
Just 1 second between the shot clock and game clock. And Nash, here we go. Kicks it out to Allen. Dishes to Marion. Shoots. Again, Oklahoma City.
He's got to be a little embarrassed for joining the Paratroopers club on that pump fake.
Here's Knight. And the defense really pressing up on him. Made that a tough shot. And that concludes the first quarter of play. And Serge Ibaka, becoming known for his shooting ability now, he talked about the confidence his team. Well, if you wonder how much difference a coach can make for a player, there it is. Huh?
You heard it in Serge's voice, too. That confidence has already been planted in him. That voice telling him, shoot the ball, is now in his own head. He's going to be just fine.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for Oklahoma City.
They've definitely had a hot hand from three-point range. Always nice to get off to a good start.
The other thing they've had going for them tonight is their passing. I mean, doing a nice job. Plenty of their points early on coming off assists.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter of play. Taking a look at the Thunder. Bogdanovich out there with Marion. Then there's Allen. Then it's Nash, and it's McGee in at the 5, patrolling the paint. Well, the Phoenix Suns came up short in their playoff hopes again last year. They went 17-24 Clark on the road, and that didn't help them out.
Not at all, and you factor in a 6-game road losing streak to end the year. That pretty much closed the door on postseason for them.
Bogdanovich off target there. That would have pushed the lead to double digits. Nash against Bledsoe. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
Well, I tell you what, I need to see some more assertiveness out of these defenders. They're not getting the job done.
That's a great point. 10 of the last 12 points they've allowed have come at the rim.
Nash drives in, and it's sent back by Bledsoe. And they'll keep possession. And they're pushing it up. And Booker kicks to Bledsoe. Feeds the land. Bledsoe with it. And Allen picks him up defensively. Warren sets the pick for Bledsoe. Clock at 6. Here's Booker. Off target with his 3. The Thunder leading by 6. McGee dishes to Bogdanovich. A three-pointer, no good. The Suns have gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. Rob. Nash against Bledsoe. Allen passes to Marion. We've got 1:23 left now here in the second. Nash with no one around. Nailed. Three-point land. Nash has got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. And first time out of the game called for Phoenix. And for JaVale McGee, what was once such a promising career is now, Clark, I think, kind of at the crossroads.
Yeah, you know what? He is capable of being a major rim protector and rebounder, but I think teams are getting a little bit impatient with him because he's just not mature to the point that you would have expected.
And for McGee, it looked like he had taken a positive step last year when it was announced he would sign with Boston. The front office even came out and sang his praises. Then negotiations fell apart and McGee didn't play again for the rest of the season. Another in a long line of disappointments over his career.
Catching up on the changes for Phoenix. Morris is checked in for John Lure. P.J. Tucker comes in for T.J. Warren. And it's Brandon Knight in for Booker. Here's Bledsoe. His second shot goes in, off to a good start, 2 for 2.
You know, regarding McGee, he spent most of his career eyeing the money. He forced his way out of Washington partly because of it. Didn't sign with the Celtics because he wanted to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. He has to show that he can still play if he wants somebody to really pay.
Tyson Chandler, he's checked in for Alex Len. Puts one up from 19. The shot is off, and Oklahoma City will go with it the other way.
I'd love to see them impose themselves a little more on the backboard. That's a great way to find confidence. Always a surefire way to get back in the game.
Well, guys, they need to do something to reduce this deficit. We'll see if that's the answer.
Suns trail by 7. And here is Knight. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. Shoots it up. And it would have caught. And so we conclude the first.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And in this completely jam-packed arena, we are glad to have you with us. Ernie, Oklahoma City has the edge here at halftime. They've got the 7-point lead. And that's going to do it for now as the second half is just about ready to...
All right, the second half beginning in just a moment. Tyson Chandler really making a difference here.
And he's been a monster in this game, throwing down some huge dunks. And I wasn't sure the rim would even survive in that first half.
And the interior defense has to get tougher here in the second half. He's making them look really bad.
And on the floor for Jeff Hornacek starting the second half. Tucker and Morris holding the forward spots. Booker out there with Brandon Knight. And it's Chandler in at the center. Here's Bogdanovich. McGee is screen on Chandler. Here's Bogdanovich, and it's JaVale McGee with the foul. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, not afraid of the physical play, but he still needs to stay under control.
Yeah, he obviously was not under control right there. Not much doubt he was going to get whistled for the over-the-back call.
Here's Bogdanovich. He's guarded by Knight. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2. It's going to go on Markieff Morris. What a year for the Suns in terms of transactions. Started the season with Dragic and Thomas on the roster and moved them both, Clark, at the deadline.
And, you know, most folks saw the Dragic trade coming after his disagreements with the team. The Thomas trade was a bit of a surprise, though.
Now here's Booker, defended by Allen, and Tucker kicks to Chandler. Nash against Knight. He dishes it to Tucker. The Suns need to get a shot off. Chandler, no good. The Thunder leading by 7. Here's Bogdanovich. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Bogdanovich has got 7 points.
Nice move and finish. I think the halftime break really gave him a second win.
Phoenix calls timeout.
And on the bench for the Suns is Jeff Hornacek, probably one of the tougher coaches in the league. He'll bend your ear if you make mental errors.
And for Coach Hornacek, Greg, you learn from one of the toughest coaches as a player. You know, several trips to the finals. And you know this guy well, Clark. Jerry Sloan was the guy that molded Jeff Hornacek.
One of the outstanding coaches in the history of the NBA, Jerry Sloan. Although Hornacek saw all that success in Utah, this is a homecoming job for him because he started his career in Phoenix.
Here's what Phoenix has got going on right now. Lenz checked in for Chandler. Fluer comes in for Morris. And Sonny Weems subbed in for P.J. Tucker. They set the screen. Knight kicks to Lure. From 13, off the left rim and out.
And being that close to the hoop, I thought he had enough room to finish that one.
Here's Bogdanovich. He's got 7. Kicks it out to Allen. For 3, good. And it's a 12-point Oklahoma City lead.
Really good awareness right there on the assist.
For Phoenix, they've gotten just one of their first 4 shots to fall since coming out of the locker room at the break. Knight against Allen. Knight dishes to Weems. And the first shot of the night for him, no good. The Thunder leading by 12. 1:19 left to play in the third. And stolen by Knight. They need this. And that one goes in as he is fouled. It'll be 3 points if he converts at the line.
And I love the fact that he didn't have to slow down or adjust there. The pass was just timed perfectly.
Eric Bledsoe's checked in for Phoenix.
Well, I tell you what, guys, last season the Thunder were fantastic on the glass. I mean, they started out as a great rebounding team and got even better after their trades.
Last season, the Oklahoma City Thunder led the entire NBA in rebounding. Greg, they did well on both ends. First in the league in offensive rebounds and second defensive.
And Kevin, the thing that sticks out for me, for OKC, everybody rebounds. The guards, the bigs, the wings. It really has a huge impact and allows you to have that many more possessions. So if this team is healthy, watch out.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Well, listless and lifeless at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
Marion passes to Bogdanovich. Drops in the short one. Bogdanovich has got 10 points.
Sound offensively. Really no other way to put it here in the second half.
There's really no comparison between the teams in terms of the way they both shot the ball since the break.
The Thunder leading by 7.
And this should be the last possession of the quarter.
Exactly. I'm right with you there, Greg. I mean, no need to give the ball back before the end of the quarter. Make sure you get the last shot here.
Knight wide open. No good there. And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Thunder lead by 7. And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. And the final period of play just about to start. Oklahoma City's gone 6 of 12 from outside. A very nice 50% mark, shooting the 3-ball well. JaVale McGee is out there with Marion. Then it's Nash. Then there's Allen. And it's Bogdanovich in at the 3 spot. That's the lineup out there for the Thunder. And so Nash nails both of them.
And for long stretches of the season, the Thunder, they had a short bench early on due to injury and just having a short rotation. They did change things up, though, as they went through that regular season.
Knight, that's a 2-pointer. Again, the miss by Knight.
Nobody even close to him, and he can't believe he doesn't knock it down.
Here's Bogdanovich. Trains the 3-pointer. Bogdanovich has got the lead up to 12 now for the Thunder.
And they're going to have a hard time climbing back into this game if they continue to defend like that.
They blow the whistle just as he gets it off. That's 2 points with a chance for another one at the stripe. Now for the Thunder, Greg, you're talking about, they did have to go to their bench more and more. And Clark, as the season wore on, their bench players were playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah, actually they ended up in the top 10 in bench minutes played. And the trades they made at the deadline helped bring depth to the team, and they took advantage of it.
The shot's good from McGee.
Guys, that time he went for the fancy finish for us there, man. That was sweet.
Phoenix calls timeout.
And I think taking a time here to talk things over is a smart idea.
One of the things you want to do is make sure everybody is clearly on the same page with the game plan. And sometimes you need a timeout to make sure that's the case.
And guys, every season there seems to be a player who is at the end of their contract. They'll have talent and they'll be traded to a team looking for an extra piece. It's the ultimate risk-reward move, if you will, in the NBA.
Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, during that last break, I heard Jeff Hornacek as he addressed his team. He didn't exactly take it easy on them, saying, how much do you want it? Don't tell me. Show me out there. We have to play better. We have to play harder if we're going to come back. Guys?
Thanks again, Doris. And Tucker kicks to Morris. And it comes off the front of the rim. And trading assets for a player that can walk at the end of the year is the big risk GMs take. And last season, Clark, it happened with the Rondo trade.
And to a lesser extent, the whole Kevin Love deal made prior to the season would fit into that category as well.
The Thunder leading by 11. Here's Bogdanovich. Good work defensively by Morris.
Terrific job that time defending at the rim. I mean, it's not an easy task stopping that fella when he's headed to the bucket like that. Good job.
Here's Booker. They get it back. Oklahoma City's gone downtown 13 times in this game, and they're just over 50%. 7 of 13 on threes. And there's the foul on the shot. He'll go to the line for 2.
They're really doing a good job working hard to get inside and draw contact, a little more so than they did in the first half.
And defense. Defensively, if you're trying to battle back, you can't keep sending them to the line.
And he sinks the second. 1:53 left to play here in the fourth. Chandler is screened. Bledsoe dishes to Booker. The feed to Chandler. Bledsoe for 3. Bogdanovich grabs the miss. Bogdanovich has got 6 rebounds in the game. Here's the 3. Booker pulls it in. Suns trail by 12. Pass to Bledsoe. And Tucker has it in the corner. And again, it's the Suns missing. For Oklahoma City, they've gone 2 for 5 on field goal attempts in the fourth quarter. Here's Bogdanovich, defended by Booker. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
You know, the Phoenix Suns played well overall last season, but they still couldn't match up against some of the teams in the West. Had a hard time with in-conference battles.
And for the Suns last season, Greg, they ended with a record of 21-31 against the Western Conference. It's something that you can point to, Greg, as a reason they failed to make the postseason.
Great point, Kevin. And the big problem for the Suns were the other Western playoff teams. Only went 8-22 against the top 8 in the West.
Guys, I think this is a game they have to feel good about as we wind through the final moments here in what looks to be a solid win for Oklahoma City.
And the big difference here was accuracy behind the three-point line, Clark.
Well, they started spraying them from deep, and then it spread out the defense, and they had all the looks they wanted.
And now, for the year, this is going to take them to 7 wins.
And this is a great way for them to kick off this season series. 2 more games ahead, and they've taken the mental advantage with this win tonight.
Greg, I don't think it'll play out quite that simply, though. The team coming out on the losing end of Game 1 is just that much more motivated to get even in Game 2 and 3. So I think the edge goes to the losing team.
And when you look back at this one, what an amazing performance this was for Bogdanovich. And you have to love the effort he put forth on the glass. He played with a fire no one else could match as he chased down those rebounds.
So no problem for Oklahoma City as they get the win. Even early on in this one, it seemed...
Kevin, I'm here with Steve.
The 2K Sports post-game show.
Hey folks, welcome back. Ernie Johnson here with Kenny Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Let's take a look now as we give our nod to our Jordan player of the game. No matter what they threw at him during the second half, it seemed like he had the answer and was able to find all the shots he wanted.
I think he came not to be outworked again.
And that wraps things up, folks. Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the rest of the... I'm Ernie Johnson. Good night, everybody.
2K Sports pregame show.
Ernie Johnson welcoming you to the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm here with Shaq and the Jet. Tonight, it's the Washington Wizards as they'll be playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last outing for Oklahoma City, they ended up with a win against the Suns. That game was a dominant performance. Always nice to win one going away, but it's just one game, and they'll be ready to go tonight. We will be watching Russell Westbrook in this one, and we hear from so many players and coaches who all say Westbrook has the mindset of the greats. What does that mean to you, Shaq?
You know, he plays with the swagger and the confidence. You know, a lot of guys in the league do not possess that. And he's a complete alpha player on the court. He's a big guy, a dominant.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the address of the President of the United States here in Washington, D.C. 2K Sports checks in with our loyal viewers with a broadcast from Washington, the home of the Wizards, the Verizon Center. Thanks for joining us as we get set to bring you NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. You look at the Thunder. They are one of the few undefeated teams at this point of the new NBA season with a 7-0 record. Tremendous play.
And I think for Oklahoma City, for me, they've taken the league by storm this season. I felt like they were maybe a year ahead of schedule in terms of being an elite group. But you look at them right now, and here they are.
And it's no fluke. I mean, they've earned that elite label with one astonishing performance after another.
So here's Oklahoma City's starting group. The rugged duo of Ibaka and Adams in the middle. Russell Westbrook out there with Jimmy Butler. And it's Bogdanovich in at the threesome. And the first one drops. Well, nobody really knew, Greg, what to make of Washington going into last year's. Playoffs, they came out strong with a big sweep against a pretty good Raptors team.
Yeah, how about taking them down 4 straight? And it was the first time a team has swept an opponent without home court advantage since 2011. Also was the first sweep for the Wizards in franchise history. Yeah, a bit over eager.
Like that on occasion. It happens. Hey, we call them gong games. You just want to hit the gong, forget about them, and move on.
Now, here is Gortat. Jimmy Butler unable to get his last shot to go. And Beal kicks to Gortat. And it's blocked by Adams. And it's out of bounds to the Wizards as Washington retains possession. So first quarter, just over a minute and a half.
Open for going 1 for 4 early.
Third goes in. Rebound by the Wizards.
Yeah, early on. Still trying to find its way.
And the thing about Bradley Beal, when he suits up, the entire lineup becomes exponentially more potent. Quick, powerful athlete. Greg, high basketball IQ. Had the great teaching at Florida, carries it to the NBA. Opponents have to account for him, I think, on both ends of the floor.
And that's a great point, Kevin. I mean, coming out of college, a lot of people compared him to Ray Allen. I mean, he possesses that next level smoothness and body control that's often indicative of a true difference maker.
Wall, and yes, sir, that one drops. Wall's got his third basket of the night.
Man, he's having quite the quarter, converting at a really high percentage.
And Adams kicks to Ibaka. There's the dish to Westbrook. Back to Ibaka. That's tipped. Adams, the pass to Bogdanovich. And again, Oklahoma City with the triple.
And, you know, going back to Bradley Beal, the bottom line is he's a winner. Last year, the Wizards went 8-9 with Beal out of the lineup. Hard to argue with those facts and numbers.
So timeout called here, the first for Washington.
And when you talk about Bradley Beal, it's not just having him in the lineup that matters. It's having him at his best. When he's at 100% health, there are very few guards in the league who can keep up with him. Truly one of the game's great young talents.
Chris Humphries has checked in for Nene. About 3 minutes gone here in the first quarter. All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Thank you, Kevin. Randy Whitman and I spoke just briefly. He knows one of the hardest parts on scoring against this defense has to do with their prolific shot blocker, Serge Ibaka. He told me he's one of those guys who can get in your head a little bit because he's so mobile. You often don't see him coming. And Kevin, you add in his great rebounding and ability to hit from mid-range, and he's always an X-factor for them. Back to you.
And thank you for that, Doris. But they recover it. Pass to Dudley. Beal against Butler. And that'll be Oklahoma City's ball as it goes out of bounds.
And really just a lack of awareness on his part. Just no idea he was right near the line.
JaVale McGee's checked in for Oklahoma City. First quarter of play and just over 3.5 minutes in. Ibaka sets the pick for Westbrook. Lets it go with the three. It's Ibaka. That time on the assist by Westbrook. Ibaka's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Outside, Wall. He kicks it to Beal. Will it go? And an exciting young backcourt in Washington with John Wall and Bradley Beal. Wall said that Beal is known for his appetite. You think John Wall's hungry for a championship in D.C.?
Yeah, I would certainly think. Well, not really. I've seen that dude eat exactly the way John described it. It is an unbelievable sight to behold. You literally cannot comprehend how anybody could scarf up that much food and still hoop.
And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for Oklahoma City.
Well, I'll tell you what, they must have had a good shoot around because they've been fantastic from long range so far, fellas.
Also, guys, the passing has been terrific in the first half. They'll be happy with all those assists.
Chris Humphries is out there with Jared Dudley. Then it's Gortat. Then it's Gary Neal. And it's Wall in at the point guard. That's the group start the second quarter for the Wizards. Well, guys, how good a playmaker is John Wall? Second in assists last season to Chris Paul. Clark, he almost finished number one.
Yeah, and the only difference really is that Paul was a little more efficient than Wall. Paul had a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Wall was only at 2.5-to-1. But some of that is Paul's experience.
And here's Wall. Thaddeus Young getting it to go from deep. Wall dishes to Neal. Back to Wall. Shot clock at 6. Wizards passing it around. Oh, drew the foul and almost hit the three-point bucket. But he'll go to the line to shoot 3. They get Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, you hate to give up a foul on a three-point attempt.
Yeah, unnecessary. I mean, make them earn those points from deep. Don't give them to them free at the line.
The Wizards making a switch here. Porter's checked in. DJ Augustine's checked in for the Thunder. Well, it was a season last year of heartbreak and change for the Thunder, narrowly missing the playoffs as the Pelicans beat them out for that 8th position.
Yeah, and they were teetering back and forth on that 8th spot for most of the year. Ultimately, they just couldn't hold on to that final playoff spot.
Now, here's Butler. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him.
Guys, for the Thunder, that playoff miss was the first time they didn't make the postseason since their first year in Oklahoma. Fans have really been spoiled with how successful the Thunder have been of late.
And the Western playoffs just, it seemed a bit amiss without having the Thunder involved. Westbrook, I tell you what, he did everything he could to try and carry that injured group into the postseason last year, but it just wasn't to be.
Last season at both sides of the coin for the Wizards, started out very hot, but then just could not keep it going.
Well, you know, the start was extremely hot. 19-6, which tied a franchise best, that record. After that, though, they played close to 500 ball the rest of the time.
Now, here's Nene. Good on the shot.
The offense has a better flow, and it actually looks better here in the second quarter.
It does. They're playing with a little bit more bounce in their step and trying to close this gap.
The Thunder leading by 9.
And the Wizards really struggle post-All-Star break, playing under 500. Still, though, they seem to pull things together at the very end and on into the postseason.
Pass to Porter. Out to Sessions, but 3. It's rebounded by Oklahoma City.
You can't miss those, but even the best do on occasion.
The shot by Butler, nobody around. And again, no good by Oklahoma City.
Well, there's no denying it. The Wizards had some bumps, and you mentioned that. Some weeks they look like a lottery team. Then the next, they look like a title contender. They knew how to make the most of their games when they did get hot, though.
Last year, the Thunder were in a playoff battle all season, Clark. Their road record of 16-24, a big part of why they didn't sneak into the playoffs.
Well, when you're dealing with the kinds of injuries the Thunder had last year, it's impossible to be your best, and grinding out road wins is that much tougher.
Bradley Beal's checked in for Gary Neal. Then for the Thunder, Steven Adams, he's checked in for JaVale McGee. Baca comes in for Young, and Bogdanovich is subbed in for Butler. Now here's Porter, and it hung on the rim but wouldn't fall for him.
And really with the Thunder and their road problems last season, both Phoenix and New Orleans had better road records than they did. And had the Thunder been tougher on the road, no doubt they would have made it in.
Beal against Allen. Sessions sets the pick for Beal. Over to the wing. 6 on the shot clock. Let's go. Bogdanovich grabs the miss.
Well, I think he had all the space he needed. He just couldn't find the bottom of the net.
Lets the 3 fly, and he gets the bucket. Bogdanovich has got 10 points. It's tipped, and we finished.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And in this completely jam-packed arena, we are glad to have you with us. Ernie Johnson with Oklahoma City has the edge here at halftime. They lead by 10. Shaq, your thoughts?
The field goal percentage was off the Chisnarts, Ernie. Let me rewind it. The field goal percentage was off the charts, Ernie. It was well planned, well executed. They took very few bad shots, and that needs to be the focus from here on out. More small basketball, don't try to do.
And that'll wrap up our halftime show. The third quarter set to go moments from now. We will be right back here after the game.
And now the third quarter about to get going. And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for the second half of basketball. So for Oklahoma City right now, down low it's the international combo of Ibaka and Adams. Jimmy Butler is out there with Russell Westbrook. And it's Bogdanovich in at the small forward position.
And unfortunately, we've seen a few too many of those. A lack of concentration and alertness, a turnover, and an easy bucket the other way in transition.
And really a few more of those, and this game could be over.
Nene, the screen. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw line.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Bradley Beal, a devastating long-range shooter. Effortless and smooth. Textbook mechanics. When he gets in the rhythm from behind the arc, lights out, baby. Lights out.
One shot. Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
Free throw, no good for Beal. And on the topic of Bradley Beal, he's not just prolific from deep, he's also improved his three-point accuracy every year. Last year, he was about 41%, Greg, from beyond the arc.
And the thing about Bradley is, well, as great as he is at shooting the triple, he's also got a refined game. He's an attacker of the rim. He's improved his ball handling and passing, really becoming a complete player.
Now, here's Wall. 10 points for him. Beal's shot is good.
Great pass. John Wall is really good at finding the open man.
Gortat with the steal. To the right side. On its way from Dudley for two. No good from the wing.
The defense better not make a habit of giving him that shot. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them.
And again, Oklahoma City, no good. Wizards trail by 7. And there's a foul. It goes on Jimmy Butler. That is his first foul of the game. And Washington making a change here. Heels checked in. And Oklahoma City with a change here, too. JaVale McGee's checked in for Adams. Now here's Wall. Shoots from 14. And that one comes up a bit short.
And good defense there to play up and get a hand in the face.
Well, he's got a tough mindset. He's confident as a defender. And when you combine those two things, it makes it real hard to score on him.
Watch out. Now that he's got his first 3 of the half, there might be more in store. Yeah, it looks like he saw some things out there that need to be adjusted, and he's going to take a break here and talk it over.
Hey, you know, coaches sometimes need a break in the action to rethink and retool a bit. Anytime you're in that situation, it makes sense to use the timeout.
And the Thunder making a change here. Young's checked in. And now around 2 minutes gone by in this half. Neal's shot is off. The Thunder leading by 10. We know Oklahoma City has the stars, the big names, the offensive flair. But, you know, Greg, this team, and you appreciate this, is a very tough defensive group.
Yeah, I think they've matured in that area. In the past, that wasn't always true. But last year, the Thunder really hung their hat on their defense. Top 10 in opponents' field goal percentage.
You know, when you look at the Thunder in their defense, it starts with the length they have on the perimeter. It also helps to have rim protectors backing them up on any drive.
Bogdanovich, he's checked in for Serge Ibaka. Now here's Wall. 10 points for him. And Dudley kicks to Wall. From deep. It's rebounded by Oklahoma City. Butler's got his 3rd rebound tonight.
And a final note on the Thunder defense. A lot of it is a mentality. They have guys that aren't scared to challenge shots. And they're a solid group that knows how to play tough team defense.
Wall. Westbrook with the block. Oh, and a fast break for Oklahoma City. Westbrook leading the charge.
All these open threes they're giving up have really been the driving force of this run.
And the points are starting to add up in a hurry, especially when you're giving up those looks from deep.
Wall's shot is off.
And, you know, you can feel the desperation right now. They're starting to lose their composure offensively.
Yeah, it's palpable, Greg. I mean, clearly you can see the frustration. And it's understandable. I mean, right now they're on the wrong side of a big run.
Now Gortat, after Westbrook's missed 3, kicks it to Nene. Looking to end the run, and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
Yeah, just nice strength there, and then just off with the shot.
Boy, with all the contact he drew there, Greg, that would have been a heck of a bucket. He nearly got it to go.
Here's what Washington's going with right now. Humphries comes in for Gortat. And Garrett Temple subbed in for Jared Dudley. Now, here's Westbrook. 9 points in the game so far. There's 14 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Wall with the steal. To the left side wing. On its way from Neal for 2. Misses. And we're rolling here again with the fourth quarter. Might not come down to the wire, but you never know. The Thunder leading by 17. All out there with Garrett Temple. Then there's Bradley Beal. Then there's Nene. And it's Humphries in at the power forward. That's the group on the floor right now for Washington. Now here's Beal. Nene, the screen. And Beal kicks to Nene. And he gets that one to go off the front iron.
Yeah, that's asking a lot from that defender.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, he just doesn't have the size to really be effective in that kind of matchup.
Wall against Westbrook. Oh, that's blocked. Oh, and here we go. Wall's got it. The fast break chance. Temple can't get it to go. Oklahoma City shooting at 52% from the field. They're clicking. Bogdanovich passes to Westbrook. Oh, and he almost had a 4-point play right there. He'll go to the line with a chance for three.
And guys, you talk about players who have that killer instinct. Russell Westbrook is right at the top of that list.
Gortat's checked in for Washington. Dudley comes in for Garrett Temple. And you think, Greg, about Westbrook's killer instincts. You were alluding to that. It's very apparent at times. Players praise, and Clark, I think, fear him for just that characteristic alone.
Well, how about this, Kevin? Kobe Bryant said Westbrook has the same love for competition that he has. Whenever other guards are pulled, Westbrook is their worst matchup.
Time called here. The Wizards decide to talk it over. Well, when you think about guards who play without fear or any hesitation, Russell Westbrook is the first of those guys to come to mind.
I tell you what, man, his relentless pursuit and attacking of the goal and his opponent is really something to watch.
Wizards trail by 20.
And for Westbrook, he had some high praise. Allen Iverson said he's a huge fan of Westbrook and sees so much of himself in him, mostly due to how they play with heart. I'll tell you the other thing, Allen Iverson always felt was the most intimidating small guard in the history of the league. Russell Westbrook rapidly trying to claim that honor.
Time called here. The Thunder decide to talk it over.
You know, I was thinking back to that Iverson quote on Westbrook. They play with that same fire. The styles in which they play are different, but you can see the intensity is the same between them.
Now here's Westbrook. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot two. That's on Marcin Gortat. Well, last season, the Wizards fell off just a bit in the second half of the year. Still, Greg, very competitive at home.
Yeah, and their strong play at home helped them weather that storm, Kevin. I mean, they ended up going 29-12 here at the Verizon Center.
And, you know, that 29 wins mark at home for the Wizards, third best in the East. That team really likes shooting the ball here, as they were a top 5 three-point percentage team in this building. Well, they've only got a slight edge in rebounding when you look at the numbers, but it certainly feels a lot bigger than it is.
Yeah, the score has a lot to do with that. Their overall effort and execution has been elite.
And here is Beal following the three from Ray Allen. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him two chances at the free throw line here.
And really the driving factor for why Washington was so good at home was their defense. I mean, they were finished with the best field goal percentage against in the entire league in their home building. You don't think of the Wizards as a lockdown team, but in the Verizon Center, that's exactly what they were.
Here's what Washington's going with right now. Porter's checked in for Nene. Temple comes in for Bradley Beal. And Sessions subbed in for John Wall. And for Marcin Gortat, he was such a good fit for the Wizards last season. Actually, the last two seasons.
You know, he runs the floor very well for his size. A terrific finisher, solid in the pick and roll, can make the mid-range. You know, he's been one of the more consistent centers in our league.
These defenders are putting up very little resistance to the three-point shot.
And it's killing them. 4 of the last 5 makes coming from long range.
And it's DJ Augustine with the foul.
You know, getting back to Gortat, he signed that 5-year, $60 million contract a couple of years back. Raised some eyebrows at the time because he's not a supreme athlete, but his size, effort, and refined skill set have made him worth it so far.
Looking at who's out there now for the Wizards. DeJuan Blair, he's checked in for Gortat. And it's Gooden in for Jared Dudley. And Oklahoma City also making a switch. Dion Waiters checked in for Ray Allen. And plenty of contact on the shot, so 2 free throws coming up.
And talking about Gortat, I like what he can do for you defensively. Doesn't really have a vertical, but uses his length and timing to alter shots. And he moves his feet well enough to close out on shooters and also cover the pick and roll. So solid and complete in terms of a frontline player.
Sessions with it, and Young picks him up defensively.
It's a +5 advantage for them in the rebounding category after that board.
Very steady with their work on the interior. Really a well-rounded effort overall. And really, these are some of the toughest calls an official has to make.
Yeah, but in this case, I think he got it right. I mean, the defender was still moving there and never really had good legal guarding position. He wasn't set.
And Greg, how about DJ Augustine on the roller coaster ride last season, beginning in Detroit, ending up in a very creditable position with the Oklahoma City Thunder?
And a lot of that was because Jennings was so inconsistent for Stan Van Gundy last year, even so much so that he started starting Augustine, and this was just a small part of the turmoil for Detroit last season.
29 seconds left in the fourth. Gooden dishes to Sessions. A floater, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
No question about it, Greg. I mean, a ton of contact and a good call by the officials.
And the second free throw, good. Here's Oklahoma City. And so the Thunder now can just hold on to the ball. Augustine. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
That's his first personal foul. 5th team foul.
The first free throw is good.
DJ Augustine taking 2 shots.
Both free throws good from Augustine. Here's Sessions. So no problem for Oklahoma City as they get the win.
The 2K Sports post-game show.
Kevin, much appreciated, and now let's present our Jordan Player of the Game, Russell Westbrook. He delivered quite a star performance. Not uncommon, as we've seen him have this sort of terrific night many times.
When you're having a night shooting in the high.
And folks, that'll wrap it up for tonight. We hope you enjoyed the game. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. Have a good evening.